Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis here on Saturday morning. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get this video out by 10 a.m. local time, which is what I usually like to do. I also usually film these like a couple days prior, but just didn't have time this week. But what I want to show you actually this week is kind of quick. I want to show you a first watering for my Catasetum Fong Cing, which is a super cool plant that William Green actually gave me some years ago and has been growing really nicely. But what I actually want to show you is how long I've waited before watering, and it's a big plant right now, and I still haven't watered. Although I don't know if you can really tell, but we've had a couple days of rain, so there's all the grass is wet, and I'm kind of between Gene's greenhouse and having my backyard fully set up. So I just had this thing on the patio. It rained for the past couple days. I was really hoping to show you a video where I water it for the first time and everybody could be like, yay, it feels good to water this plant that hasn't seen water in, 3 or 4 months or something. But instead, nature did it for me. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how big this thing is and how I could have left this without water for probably another month and it would have been just fine. I also want to talk to you a little bit about my import Mormodes, which I have thrust outside in the cold. It got down to 49 degrees. And I'm going to talk a little bit about forcing dormancy on that particular plant. So let's turn the camera around and I will show you some cool things. So here's Fong Cing, and just in case you're wondering, geez, look what I did there. I ripped this tag out to show you the Fong Cing, and it turns out that there was a root tip stuck to it. So that's never good, but anyway, it's just one. But so this is Fong Cing. Like I said, William Green gave this to me some years ago, and it is an especially vigorous plant. You can see there's the broken root right there in the middle, but then you also see these other root tips growing. And so this, actually, I thought this was going to be full of water, but it turns out that it didn't fill up entirely. So what I'm going to do is start watering this full time. You can see a big fat root there underneath my thumb. But really what I want to highlight to you is just how large this new growth is before I started watering. How much energy is still left in this pseudobulb here, these 3 pseudobulbs. I mean, this could easily have gone another month and the plant would not have skipped a beat. So I just want to show you that a big, large, mature plant doesn't need to be watered. I know there's a real desire to maybe you start feeling bad for your plants that haven't gotten water for 3 or 4 months, and then but you don't need to feel bad. These guys are perfectly adapted for that. This particular plant is a monster, and it'll turn into a huge thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with water. I'm going to use a water-soluble fertilizer. Paula over at Hillbilly Orchids gave me some Jack's fertilizer, I believe, a couple of years ago, and I'm going to hit that so the roots will immediately get lots of nutrients right off the bat with that first watering. And then I will add some of the Jim's Purely Organic, which will feed the microbes in here, in the water well, and then in the wood structure above it. And that will slowly break down over time, releasing a whole bunch of nutrients that the plant can take every single day as its roots are in that water well. So that combination should give me a huge plant and really nice blooms. The other thing that I want to point out is that there's some people that only give their plants a little bit of water on that first watering, and I don't subscribe to that, and I really can't because I have a water well that's going to fill up with water anyway. I don't think it's necessary. It does work, but it's not absolutely critical. So I pour my water on right away, full blast. There's no reason to hold back, in my opinion. Although if you want to hold back, you can. It does work. But so does just hitting them with a ton of water and fertilizer right off the bat. So the next thing I want to show you is this little Mormodes that is going dormant. All right. So here's my Mormodes revoluta that I got from Peru Flora in October at the Redland Orchid Festival. It is a skinny little thing. You know, I'm not super excited about how this one's doing, but you know, I stopped watering it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago to force it into dormancy. It immediately dropped its leaves, so that's great. What I'm gonna do now actually is probably water it since it's been 2 or 3 weeks. Fred Clark in a video that I'll link at the end told me that he waters his Mormodes every 3 weeks during dormancy, so this one is looking especially skinny. And then I left it outside last night for actually the past 2 nights, and it's gotten down to the high 40s, and so that should really kick this one into dormancy and make it go to sleep. So that's my plan for this little Mormodes. We'll see how it does, if it lives and perks up. This oldest bulb is pretty skinny. The newest bulb isn't huge, but isn't terrible. So, you know, that's just part of the thing with imports, is that it's kind of a crapshoot. Even if you know how to handle them, the mortality rate's still higher than you'd want it to be. But anyway, so that's my plan for this. I will, of course, keep you all updated on how it does, and I hope you have a great weekend.